Welcome back. I'm Robin Gautam. In our previous section, we had learned how to create a simple freestyle project. We had discussed a couple of cool ways to configure our Jenkins job and integrate Jenkins with Git. So in today's lesson, we are going to learn how to create a master-slave architecture and how to create a simple pipeline project. So let's get it started. So here I am on my EC2 dashboard. We had installed Jenkins on one of our EC2 node and named it Jenkins master in earlier lesson. Note that whenever we feel the Jenkins is hung up or just slowing down the process, we can go over actions and we can stop the instance, and after stopping the instance we can go to instance settings, and here we can change the instance type after stopping the instance. So here I have created one more EC2 instance and just named it Jenkins node. Note that on security groups I have used the same security group which I have used on my master, and I have opened port 22. You don't need port 8080 for node, but you need port 22. Here we have our Jenkins master and node. In order to have a master-slave architecture, we need to have key sharing between these two instances. Note that the dark screen here is my master and the blue screen over here is my node. So on my master, let me generate a key using ssh keygen -t rsa, and let me cat that key. So once I cat the public key, let me copy this public key and paste it to authorized keys on this node. So once I have configured my keys, these two machines can communicate with each other. And you can just verify just by trying to SSH to this node from the master. So you can see we have the public IP of our node over here. So let me copy this public IP and try to SSH to see we have communication between these two. You can see I am now into my node. So this means that two machines are communicating properly. So let me exit this. Now I am in my master. So in order to have our master node configuration in the new instance, we need to have Java installed. So let me go ahead and install Java. So once I have Java installed on my node, let me go to my Jenkins dashboard. Let me go to Jenkins. Let me go to Manage Jenkins. Let me go over Manage Nodes and Clouds. Here you can see I only have master. Let me create new node and name it node. Here in number of executors, let me add 2, and in the remote root directory I'm going to keep home EC2 user workspace executor 1. So on label, whatever we specify, we need to specify the same thing on our pipeline project as well. So when you go over our Jenkins file over here in our repository, you can see here I have mentioned node. So on this uses, I'm going to use only build jobs with level expression matching this node, and on launch method I am going to use launch agents via SSH. Note that when you go over our CI/CD integration repository, I have included the README file over here which explains how to create master-slave architecture. Note that we have already configured the communication between the slave and the master. The additional thing that we need to do is we need to do this further step down here. So let me go ahead and do that. So on our EC2 instance, we need to add our private IP of the node. So let me go to my node and let me scroll this little up. Here you can see I have my private IP. So let me copy this private IP and paste it on my Jenkins host. And on credentials, I'm going to add a Jenkins credentials. The kind should be SSH username with private key. On ID, let me use Jenkins master key shared. So here, let me use the same thing on description, and on username, let me use EC2 user, because that's the user which we are having over our EC2 instance. You can see it's the EC2 user. And on the private key, so moving back to our master, let me cat my private key. Let me copy this private key from the master and paste it over here. And let me select the Jenkins master key, which I just added it now. So here on the host key verification, I'm going to use non-verifying verification strategy, and I'm going to save it. You can see our node has cross sign over here. So if you are configuring node for the first time, since we have our Java installed already, we can just launch this agent. See, it's already configured. So once we have our master and node set up, let me go back to Jenkins to create a simple pipeline project. So here let me name the item as pipeline, and let me select pipeline and click OK. So moving down to this pipeline section, we have an option to choose the pipeline script and write the pipeline script right over here and build our job, as well as we can use the pipeline script from SCM option in order to build from our source code management tool like Git. So for now, let me show you how to add something over here and build our pipeline script. So here let me specify node. Here I'm specifying node because I want to run this job on my node which I have just created. Let me specify stays, echo stays. Here let me include one echo message like echo hello world. Let me include another stays to create a file. Create a file. Let me do touch abc.txt for instance. So let me save these chains and build now. So with this pipeline project, we can have a nice view on our task which is running. So here we can see logs for particular stage over here, but if you want the logs on the whole job, you can just click on this blue ball. Here you can see my abc.txt is created, so we can see that file in our node. So when you go over to our workspace, in pipeline directory you can see abc.txt is created. So let me remove this for now. Now let's move back to Jenkins. On our pipeline, let me click configure. So here now I'm going to set different option saying pipeline script from SCM. On our source code management, I'm going to select Git. So here on the repository URL, I'm going to enter my URL of my Git. So here, let me use this URL here. And on the credentials, remember last time we had created our Git token. So I'm gonna add this Git token over here, which we generated from developer settings at global level on GitHub. So let me specify I want to run it from different brands. Let me do feature 1. So on the script path, it specifies which file do you want to run from. By default it's Jenkins file, and that's perfectly fine for now. So apply, save. So moving back to our desktop, we had cloned our CI/CD repository. So let me open that CI/CD repository with my text editor. So when you see over here on Jenkins file, you can see we have this many stages. So here let's create a new branch called feature 1. So when I do git branch, I'm in my master. So let me create a new branch which we had specified in our Jenkins configuration. So git checkout -p feature 1. So when I do git branch again, you can see I am on my feature 1 branch. So here let me use this node over here, and on this stage let me include a stage. Let's do git checkout, and in this git checkout we need to have our git checkout block over here. So I'm gonna show you how we are going to add that thing. So when you go over our pipeline project, you can see something called pipeline syntax over here. When you click on pipeline syntax, you can select git over here, and it is asking here for repository URL, branches and credentials. So here what I'm going to do is whatever we specify over here, we can generate a pipeline script. So we don't have to specify the branch because we have already specified on the job level that whenever the job is running, we want to run from this branch. So here I'm going to add the repository URL. So on the credentials, I'm going to use git token and generate a pipeline script. You can see my pipeline script is being generated. So here Let me copy this section and let me paste it over here. Since our Git branch is just empty, we don't need this empty thing. We can just remove this back and we can just include this much stays over here. So after making these changes, we can save it. We can use git add, we can use git status. So we have our Jenkins file over here. We can do git commit -m updated Jenkins file, and let's do git push origin feature 1. So once I have pushed my changes to this feature 1 branch, let me run my pipeline again. So let me use build now. Now you can see it's throwing an error over here. So the thing that you need to note down is we don't have Git installed in our agent. So when we look over the console output, it's throwing error on the Git. So it's saying error to clone the repo over here. So what I can do here is I can do sudo yum install git -y. So once we have Git installed on our node, we can again build this job now. You can see the job is successful. So we have gone through how to create a simple pipeline project. In next video, we will learn further how to work with Maven projects, how to work with Dockers. So see you in further videos.